What's up with the squad? Back with another video. I seen the title was going down. Make sure y'all hit the like button, that subscribe button, please, for me. Definitely, it's definitely been a day. You know, it's now 5:50 in the evening. Had a little stressful day, today, but it's all good. One thing about it, I love getting on here. Speaking with y'all, talking to y'all, and having a little conversation out there in the comments and on the video. So it's definitely uplifting. Definitely hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for me, please, if y'all could.
One,
the video.
Who'd be willing to be assassinated to do anything like that. And so as you're choosing your leaders, ask yourself, does this person mean it enough to die? And that's the same question you would ask about your own dad. Does he love me enough to die for me? About your own husband, does he love me enough to protect me from a home invader at risk to himself? Like the basic prerequisite for leadership is love of the people you lead and the willingness to die for them. And if you don't have that, you shouldn't be leading, period. It's true in the military, it's true in business, it's true in your home, and it's true in the government. And so no president will fix this unless he's like literally willing to die for it. And short of that, it can't be fixed.
What's up, guys? Your boy Benny. So the disgraced head of the Secret Service has now come up with a new explanation as to why the agency that is protected with the president's life almost got the president assassinated, and Donald Trump was shot in the head. And by a miracle, Donald Trump is still alive today. Yeah. Again, this is accurate to say that the Secret Service failed so badly at their job that the president was shot in the head. Got it? Okay. So the DEI director of the Secret Service, right here, Kimberly Cheadle's her name, made an excuse saying that the building in particular had a sloped roof at its highest point. And so there's a safety factor that would be considered when you put somebody up on a sloped roof. Well, that's a little interesting because the snipers who didn't take the shot here to kill the man who was army crawling, the Joe Biden voter, human scum, who was army crawling towards their protectee, they seem to be on somewhat of a sloped roof. Idiot. So yeah, this is kind of leading to people to say, so scared of the roof. It has like an incline, like a 5% incline. No, man. No, there's so many weird things that are going on here, and not weird like, oh, that's strange, like Ripley's Believe It or Not. No, there's enough evidence here to probably charge the head of the Secret Service with malice and manslaughter. That's what I say. Why not charge her? Why not? They should the prosecutor should charge the head of the Secret Service because people died, right? And people had their lives changed forever because there were multiple people in the rally that were shot.
And even if with people's lives being changed forever, it's just a traumatizing thing. Like I told y'all before, on a couple videos back and on my live, I've been through something like that, literally right in front of me in my home, and it's traumatizing. When I say it's traumatizing, it's very traumatizing. Going through anything like that. First of all, being a victim of it. And just being, somebody else just around it, and mess with your head. Even if it doesn't mess with you initially, it's people that probably just went home. You know what I mean? Went home and been fine. The stuff that happened to me happened years ago. And it's now, since last year, been bothering me a lot, going through a lot. Anytime I hear, anything loud outside, loud in my home, I went through something bad, on the road, and stuff. So it just takes time is what I'm saying. A lot of people were affected by that, and it's sad, and I pray for those people, their mindset, the mental health, because, it mess with people. And just like you said, people that were wounded by it, dealing with that too, being wounded by, a bullet and, it's just a sad thing. So prayers out to those people.
People died. She should be charged with manslaughter. She's probably she probably has more hatred from me than Anthony Fauci does right now, as far as like government bureaucrats. And it's like goes Secretary Mayorkas, Anthony Fauci, the head of the Secret Service, Kimberly Cheadle. Who gave the stand down order, right? Like these snipers clearly had this guy in their scopes and in their sights. Some reports say for 30 minutes. A professional sniper that I texted with says like I have no effing clue what they're doing. Secret Service snipers that I've competed against are the fastest, most accurate shooters I've ever seen. The fact that they let this happen makes zero sense. Also, why was Donald Trump surrounded by like the women's intersectional feminist BIPOC study group at your local arts college, right? Like, why were these the agents? Look at how the agent can't even holster her weapon. An embarrassment. How is this person who's 2 feet shorter than Donald Trump supposed to cover Trump?
Right.
Now, these are questions, okay? These are questions.
That's crazy.
I'm not saying anything about this particular agent in the aggregate. What I'm saying is that this agent can't cover Trump because she's physically incapable of it. Anybody can see that. Law enforcement snipers, like facing the direction of the shooter, clearly like incapable of figuring out what's going on. Multiple people saying, whoa, I saw the shooter. I literally saw the shooter and I told law enforcement about it. Law enforcement did nothing. Multiple interviews.
Yeah.
Like that. And then, of course, leaving this roof unguarded. So what is happening here exactly? Tucker Carlson had an interesting take. Tucker Carlson was recently interviewed over the last 24 hours about this and said, it's totally acceptable to say, no, none of this makes sense. And maybe the government is conspiring to have something horrible happen to President Trump because they've run out of other assassination options.
But my strong sense is they've given up. Trump is going to be president. They know that. At this point, it would just be too messy to stop that. Stealing the election once again, like they did in 2020, is just too hard. Everyone's expecting it. I think it would not be worth it, actually. At some point we may find out what happened on Saturday. A guy with a rifle wound up on a building, that close with a ladder, and all these people saw it, and the Secret Service, they're like, what is that? It's not crazy to think that there was something there. It was an effort to kill Trump, and it wasn't just a lone gunman who was killed, that it was something else.
And then next video, we're going to get more into that because there is new details that is out. There are new details that's out, so make sure y'all stay tuned for the next video.
But I don't think going forward, look, I think everyone has kind of accepted the fact that Trump's going to win, and it would be too hard to stop him from winning. This is just my gut as of today, and Kamala Harris, that's not going to work. Yeah. What they really want to do is subvert Trump with a running mate who agrees with the Democrats and on the big issues, on the economy and foreign policy. And there are a whole bunch of those. And donors tried to force them in the last 48 hours. They tried really, really hard. You can't beat Trump, clearly. You shoot him in the face and he gets more popular. I mean, really? So what we need to do is just rot it from within with some running mate who, let's make Nikki Haley the running mate or something like that. And they failed. So I'm pretty hopeful.
You had predicted about a year ago that an assassination attempt on Trump was likely. How did we get here?
Well, we got here, disaster has many authors. So we got here for a bunch of different reasons. I think there's been, I say this as someone who's been in the media my whole life, 33 years, an extraordinary amount of recklessness and dishonesty in the American news media, which is loathsome. The legacy media, the big companies that I spent my life working for, have really dedicated themselves to lying in a very cruel and vicious way. People like Joe Scarborough did a lot, I think, to make assassination attempts like that possible. They're comfortable with violence. Scarborough especially is comfortable with violence, but a lot of them are, I think. And so they should be ashamed they're not, but they should be. But I think more broadly, there's a lot going on that is unseen. There's a lot of evil all of a sudden in this country. I never noticed it before. I'm not saying it wasn't here, but in the 55 years I've been here, I haven't seen it like I've seen it in the last year. People really.
And I've said that multiple times. I've said that so many times that ever since I started to get in these videos, I guess I didn't notice it before last year, but seeing ever since I want to say after, and I'm not blaming it on, what happened in 2020, the sickness. I have to watch what I say on my channel. Even that is crazy, that you can't even say that. But, you know, ever since then, it just seems like it was a big change, you know, into things. And I started to notice more, you know, of so much violence and so much stuff that's really like childish, you know, irrelevant, you know, crazy, just especially with like the teenagers that's, you know, and the crazy thing is, you know, it's up to, you know, I want to say us, you know, I'm 26, but, you know, even the younger ones, you know, that's 17, 18, 19, 20 years old that, you know, need to start thinking about stuff like this and taking it more seriously, you know, and that's why I strive to do what I do. You know, I'm 26 years old and I'm literally, instead of me doing what I used to do on music, music and comedy and sports and stuff like that, which I have another channel, LifeWithRecklezz 2.0, of doing music. But at the same time, my main channel, I really switched over to getting these things because it's important for, you know, this generation to know like what's going on, and a lot of them aren't paying attention like they should. They take it as a joke, and it's not a joke at all, you know. So I strive to do what I need to do as best, is sharing these videos and getting out. So when people be like, oh, you react to this person and you do this and you do that, of course I do. A lot of times people have good information. A lot of times, you know, it's a sense of sharing, you know, a lot of stuff that's out here that people aren't seeing, you know, that's away from the mainstream. You don't want to do that. Find these independent people that are literally finding, you know, and seeing other people that is getting this information out, the real, you know, and that's how I look at things, you know, is more important for
being
that.
vicious, people espousing cruelty and killing, people telling you that abortion for its own sake or war for its own sake is a good thing. Like, what is that? You know, that's evil. So there's a lot of that, and this is, I would say, a manifestation of it.
Tucker, the past 24 hours has been wild, the amount of news that has come out. How did the attempted assassination on former President Donald Trump change this election?
Well, Trump won when that happened because he displayed physical courage. And, you know, if you live in a society where people are literally dating by remote, virtually, and working virtually, you can kind of lose touch with the physical reality of life. But the unchanging truth is that leadership requires courage, and not just abstract courage, moral courage, but physical courage. You know, someone starts shooting a rifle. Like, are you going to wet yourself and start crying and run away? Or are you going to stand up and look at your people and raise your fist and say, fight? And very few people are capable of doing that, and he is. And therefore he wins, because that supersedes all this nonsense that we talk ourselves into believing is important. No, the guy got shot in the face. He stood up with blood streaming down the side of his head, blood on his hands, and said, fight, totally defiant. That's an act of undeniable courage that was not staged. You couldn't stage that.
Exactly. So for the people that's saying that, you know, oh, this is staged and this is that, and it, no. I don't see that. I don't see that.
And he wins. And by the way, notice what happens to everyone in the crowd. When a leader is strong, his people are calm. His courage gives them heart. That's true for a father, and it's true for a president. So yeah, he just won, and he deserves to win. Like, that was the ultimate test.
So Tucker Carlson saying, of course, what we would all expect Tucker to say, given his extensive history of doing something very chilling, which is predicting Donald Trump's assassination on this show and on many others. Tucker Carlson being the man who got it right, chillingly, shockingly, and horrifyingly here, and making sure that he puts a pin in it and starts blaming who's responsible, right? The corporate media, Democrat Party rhetoric about Donald Trump. He's led boxing. And the hysteria that actually led to a Joe Biden voter crawling on a rooftop to kill President Trump. What actually happened here? You gotta know, because it's not the sloped roof. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe.
Make sure y'all check out Benny Johnson. Definitely amazing guy. Make sure y'all hit the like with that subscribe button. I kind of said what I said. You know, I definitely said what I said. There are a lot of questions that people, you know, have. You know, it's a lot of questions on, you know, what all happened. But just like Tucker Carlson said, you know, Trump got to win, you know, and he was winning before that, you know, but I feel like this definitely puts a cherry on top, you know. Sadly, not trying to make it seem like, oh, it's a good thing that this happened whatsoever, but it's just a simple fact of, you know, of what happened, what he did, you know, the fight. And, you know, sadly, I'm not by any means, you know, people, like I said, early in the video, lost life, wounded, and people being traumatized by something like that. So, it is sad in that sense. Don't get me wrong. It definitely is. But at the same time, just having somebody stand up, being a leader about something like that, being shot, is definitely something, and I definitely feel like, ever since, that happened, more and more people, what I'm trying to say, more and more people, definitely more and more people tuned in. Even those people, that needs to pay attention to this generation, I feel like they're tuning in more of what's actually going on. They need to be, definitely. Make sure to like, subscribe, and definitely appreciate y'all. Much love, everybody. Catch y'all next one.